Welcome to English with Ian.
The Dark Shadow. A look at Adolf Hitler's life. Welcome back to Historical Echoes, the podcast where we delve into the lives that shaped our world. Today, we're tackling a profoundly difficult but necessary subject, the life of Adolf Hitler. His name is synonymous with unimaginable horror, the Holocaust, and World War II. Joining me to navigate this complex history is our resident historian, Dr. Tom Henderson. Tom, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Maria. It's crucial to understand the origins of such figures, not to excuse them, but to learn from history's darkest chapters.
Absolutely. So let's begin at the beginning, his early life. What was his background like, and were there any signs of the path he would eventually take?
Adolf Hitler was born in 1889 in Austria-Hungary. His early life was, by many accounts, unremarkable in terms of foreshadowing his future. He had a difficult relationship with his father and lost his mother, whom he adored, relatively early. He was an aspiring artist, twice rejected from the Vienna Academy of Fine Arts, which was a significant blow to him. He spent his early adult years in Vienna and Munich, often struggling financially, and absorbed many of the anti-Semitic and nationalist ideas prevalent in Central Europe at the time. However, there was no obvious trajectory to political extremism in his youth. He was essentially a drifting, dissatisfied young man. World War I and political awakening.
It sounds like a common story of youthful disillusionment. So, what was the turning point? When did this drifting young man begin to transform into the figure we recognize from history?
World War I was undoubtedly the crucible for Hitler. He volunteered for the German army and served as a dispatch runner on the Western Front, showing courage and receiving medals. This experience gave him a sense of purpose and belonging he had never known. The defeat of Germany and the harsh terms of the Versailles Treaty deeply embittered him, like many other Germans. He felt that Germany had been stabbed in the back by its own politicians and internal enemies. This era solidified his intense German nationalism and his anti-Semitic views, as he blamed Jews and communists for Germany's defeat.
So, the war not only gave him a purpose, but also crystallized his extremist ideology. How did he then go from a disgruntled veteran to a political leader?
After the war, he remained in the army briefly, involved in political education. He was assigned to observe a small political group called the German Workers' Party. He quickly found his voice as a speaker, realizing his powerful rhetorical abilities. His speeches, filled with vitriolic attacks on the Treaty of Versailles, communists and Jews, resonated with many Germans reeling from economic hardship and national humiliation. He rapidly rose through the ranks of this party, which he soon renamed the National Socialist German Workers' Party.
The rise to power. His rise was incredibly swift. How did he manage to gain so much power in such a short time?
It wasn't entirely swift. It was a decade-long struggle marked by key moments. After a failed coup attempt in 1923, the Beer Hall Putsch, he was imprisoned. This was a critical period because he wrote Mein Kampf in jail, outlining his racist and expansionist ideology. More importantly, he realized that power had to be gained through legal means, not revolution. So, the Nazis then focused on building their party structure and winning elections.
So, he shifted strategies. What factors allowed him to succeed politically, despite his extreme views?
Several factors converged. The Great Depression hit Germany hard, leading to massive unemployment and social unrest. People lost faith in traditional democratic parties. Hitler offered seemingly simple solutions, blaming scapegoats like Jews and communists, promising national revival and restoring order. He was a master of propaganda and mass rallies, projecting an image of strength and unwavering determination. His charisma, though dark, was undeniable. Ultimately, A combination of economic desperation, political instability, and a fear of communism pushed many conservatives to ally with him, believing they could control him. In January 1933, he was appointed Chancellor of Germany.
Dictatorship and the road to war. And once he became Chancellor, his grip on power tightened remarkably quickly. How did he dismantle democracy and establish his dictatorship?
Within months, the Reichstag fire in February 1933, which was likely orchestrated by the Nazis, or at least exploited by them, was used as a pretext to suspend civil liberties and arrest political opponents. The Enabling Act in March 1933 effectively allowed Hitler to rule by decree, bypassing parliament. All other political parties were banned, trade unions were dissolved, and dissent was brutally suppressed. Propaganda glorified him, while the Gestapo, his secret police, instilled terror. He systematically eliminated any opposition, even within his own party.
It's chilling to think how quickly a democracy can fall, and this consolidation of power directly led to the atrocities that followed, particularly the Holocaust.
Exactly. Once in total control, Hitler rapidly implemented his racist agenda. The Nuremberg Laws of 1935 stripped Jews of their German citizenship and forbade marriage between Jews and Germans. This was just the beginning of a systematic persecution that escalated to forced emigration, ghettoization, and ultimately the final solution: the planned extermination of all Jews in Europe, leading to the Holocaust and the murder of 6 million Jews, alongside millions of others deemed undesirable by the Nazi regime.
The machine of propaganda. That brings us perfectly to the role of propaganda. It wasn't just about his speeches, was it? It was a pervasive, all-encompassing system designed to shape every aspect of German life.
Absolutely. Joseph Goebbels, Hitler's Minister of Propaganda, was a master manipulator of public opinion. Propaganda wasn't just political rallies. It was woven into everyday life. Newspapers, radio, films, school textbooks, art, even children's toys. All were harnessed to promote the Nazi ideology. Jews were dehumanized, the Aryan race was glorified, and Hitler himself was presented as a messianic figure, the savior of Germany. The goal was to eliminate independent thought and foster unwavering obedience.
And it worked, tragically, on a massive scale. It truly highlights the power of controlling information. Sparks of resistance. With such pervasive control and terror, was there any significant resistance to Hitler within Germany? Or was the population entirely subjugated?
It's a vital part of the story to remember that resistance, though incredibly dangerous and often isolated, did exist. It wasn't a mass movement in the way we might think, because the regime was so brutally efficient at crushing dissent. However, there were various forms. Some individuals, like the White Rose student group, distributed anti-Nazi leaflets, knowing the extreme risks. They were executed. There were attempts on Hitler's life, most notably the July 20th plot in 1944, by military officers who realized Hitler was leading Germany to ruin. This also failed, and thousands involved or suspected were executed.
So, brave individuals, but perhaps not powerful enough to turn the tide. What about other forms of resistance?
Beyond direct political or military plots, there was also moral resistance. Some clergy, like Dietrich Bonhoeffer, openly criticized the regime and paid with their lives. Ordinary Germans sometimes helped Jews or hid political dissidents, knowing they faced death if discovered. And small acts of defiance, like listening to forbidden foreign radio broadcasts, also occurred. These acts of resistance, though not always successful in overthrowing the regime, serve as a powerful testament to the enduring human spirit in the face of tyranny. They remind us that even in the darkest times, not everyone succumbed.
Lasting lessons and vigilance. It's a sobering reminder of the consequences of inaction and the slow creep of tyranny. As we wrap up this extensive discussion, Tom, what do you think is the most critical and perhaps enduring lesson for us today, especially given the various global challenges and conflicts we face?
The most enduring lesson, beyond the horrors themselves, is the critical importance of vigilance and historical literacy. We must understand how extremist ideologies gain traction, how propaganda works, and how quickly democratic norms can erode if not actively defended. It's a reminder that genocide doesn't happen overnight. It's a process of dehumanization and escalating persecution, often enabled by indifference or the silence of the majority. We must constantly challenge prejudice, protect minority rights, and support robust democratic institutions. The echoes of history remind us that the fight for human rights and justice is perpetual.
A truly powerful and vital message to end on. Dr. Tom Henderson, your insights today have been incredibly valuable in helping us understand this dark but essential part of history. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, Maria. It's a conversation that must continue.
Indeed, it must. And thank you to all our listeners for joining us on Historical Echoes. This has been a difficult but necessary journey, and we hope it prompts further reflection and learning. Until next time, stay curious and always remember the lessons of the past.